The opponent gonna send in the Water Gun Lapras into a loaded Sudowoodo Lapras. Pretty thick, but Sudowoodo's gonna vanquish it back to the Pokeball. The opponent sends back out Raichu. Sudowoodo makes the Trailblaze, and that is gonna be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. We are back at it today with our first triple Shadow battle submission of the new season. Huge shout out to Khaos, who is running 2 Pokemon that got access to new moves. We've got Breaking Swipe Steelix, which is going to be pretty much the king of the Ultra League. And then we've got Trailblaze Sudowoodo. I think Trailblaze is a really good coverage move for Sudowoodo. Rock, an absolutely dreadful defensive typing. Weak to both water and ground. With the access to Trailblaze, is able to hit them back for super effective. Both these Pokemon are weak to counter. So we're going to be taking a look at Beedrill. Beedrill is one of my personal favourite Pokemon. Obviously on this team, it's going to operate as anti-fighters. We're AVP weak to fighting. I have personally run Beedrill a lot. However, the main issue with Beedrill was just how bad X-Scissor was. It was 35 energy for 45 damage. To put that into perspective, both Night Slash and Cross Chop are 35 for 50. And Night Slash obviously has a chance to buff your attack. X-Scissor was just awful. They've now made it a bug-type Surf clone, so let's see how it fares in the Open Great League. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in Game 1, Beedrill's buff coming in clutch. We landed the X-Scissor onto a Metachan. Usually X-Scissor will be so underwhelming, but it landed for huge neutral damage. The opponent then safe switched into Registeel. Beedrill still not done, landed the Drill Run. We then pivoted out into Sudowoodo, shielded up the Focus Blast and committed to the full counter farm down. Khaos is down 2 shields. However, the opponent sends back out Metachan. That gets counter farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is a Alolan Sandslash, and Sudowoodo about to sweep the back line. We throw the Trailblaze, boosting our attack, and 3 more counters is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Steelix not even getting onto the battlefield in game number 1. In the next battle, we see Beedrill into Ampharos. Ampharos, another buff Pokemon, which also has access to Trailblaze. Hello, game. Holy crap, Niantic. Fix your game. This is the early ranks lag. It's going to be here, there, and every fucking where, and Khaos is not appreciative for it. We finally managed to throw a charger. We throw the X-Scissor, forcing a Protect Shield. Ampharos now so far ahead in energy. We attempt to catch a move onto Steelix. No such luck. The opponent with plenty of time to react, however, still choose to YOLO the double resisted Thunder. Steelix tanks that like an absolute boss. The opponent gives us the full Dragon Tail farm down, and the opponent sends out Caracosta. We build up to the Earthquake Masturbate with the Breaking Swipe, forcing the final protection. We then look to throw one Dragon Tail and the next Breaking Swipe, and the opponent catch it on Rhydon. Rhydon, another buff Pokemon this season that now has access to Breaking Swipe. Rhydon should be pretty favourable in this matchup, however Steelix so far ahead in energy, already got him deep into the red. Steelix has done its job, so Khaos opts to let it go down. We can now send out Sudowoodo, and we're going to be able to counter farm down the remainder of the team. Back out comes Caracosta. Khaos is going to shield out of caution. The opponent throws the Ancient Power, which wouldn't have secured the knockout. We could get the full counter farm down, but why not show him the newly buffed Trailblaze? GG's and thanks for playing. We are only 2 battles in, but Sudowoodo out here looking like the MVP. In the next battle, we see Beedrill into Raichu wearing a very silly hat. Whenever there's any issues with the game, Niantic's response is usually to bring out a Pikachu or wearing a silly hat. Fantastic. However, on a more serious note, what is fantastic is Khaos' fast move count, and we farmed up, caught the double resisted Thunder Punch onto Steelix. However, the opponent's got a very hard counter for us in the form of Charmeleon, these Fire Fangs tearing us apart. However, look how oppressive Steelix is. We managed to force both Protect Shields off the opponent. The opponent does commit to the full Fire Fang farm down. However, Sudowoodo is going to be able to absorb all of this energy. The opponent fires off the first Fire Punch. That does absolutely nothing to the squishy Sudowoodo. The opponent throws Fire Punch number 2, and Sudowoodo still in the green. We get the full counter farm down Sudowoodo with residual energy. The opponent send out Water Gun Lapras, pretty thick but not thick enough. Sudowoodo's going to vanquish it back to the Pokeball. Just the silly hat wearing Raichu remains, and Sudowoodo's going to make the Trailblaze and take that game. Sudowoodo absolutely popping off. Moving on to the next battle. Great lead, Beedrill into Obstagoon. To my surprise, his opponent actually running Lick, so it's somewhat more neutral. We attempt to throw the X-Scissor. Again, the game lags. Khaos actually says he thinks X-Scissor is bugged. So if anyone has used X-Scissor, post down below if you're getting the same issue. We throw the X-Scissor, the opponent invest that Protect Shield. Are we going to shield in return? We are not. The opponent full send the Hyper Beam. Holy smokes. Khaos takes his shield advantage, sends in Sudowoodo, gets himself a nice running start on energy. The opponent actually has a Steel Wing Skarmory. Is the algorithm real? I'll let you decide. We throw the rock slide, forcing the final Protect Shield and pivot out into Steelix. This is going to be a very long drawn out matchup with two bulky steel types throwing resisted charge moves at each other. The opponent actually YOLO the flash cannon that does a lot of damage, then pivot out into a Alolan Executor. Khaos, this trainer has a family. No! Executor straight in and straight out. Mr. Opponent, you threw your Executor to the wolves there. Khaos now going to throw the Breaking Swipe at Skarmory, lowering the pretty much non-existent attack already. We then make the Earthquake. Earthquake single resisted and did get debuffed this season, but still enough to take that game. In the next battle, we see Beedrill into a Purified Graveler. Who doesn't love the early ranks? This is absolutely the Wild West. We again attempt to throw the X's and we're met with yet more lag. X's goes unshielded. The opponent now deep in the red. We look to snipe with Sudowoodo. The opponent just about survives. Make a charge move. They YOLO the return, which would be resisted due to our rock typing. What is going on here? I have absolutely no idea. The opponent then send out a Metal Claw Laron, then pivot out into a Alolan Sand/Khaos, going to be able to shield once, counter farm all the way down. My god, this opponent is so weak to counter. Back out comes Laron. It's time to start ramping up our attack. We throw the first Trailblaze, forcing the first Protect Shield. Khaos throws Trailblaze. Number 2, we're now going to be 2-stage boosted, and these counters are going to start chunking the opponent just about survive, firing off a charge move. However, Laron so low, they need Khaos essentially to have a heart attack to have any chance of winning this game. Oh wait, I forgot the other win con. Khaos lagging, which he is doing. However, we do come back into the game, Dragon Tail farm down, and take that game. My god, that was one of the strangest battles I've ever seen in my life. But we do go 5-0. Moving on to the next battle. We see some Shadow on Shadow Crime. My god, look at the fast move pressure. Khaos makes a very nice catch, catching the Dragon Claw onto Steelix. Dragon Claw doesn't do too much, however the opponent has a very hard response, waiting for our Steelix in the form of Swampert. However, fun fact, if you want to play the 2 shield out, this matchup gets super close, especially when the opponent doesn't shield the first move. However, it looks like Steelix is just going to go down. We're going to keep our 2 shields and hopefully see if Sudowoodo can sweep yet another team. Khaos sends out Sudowoodo. We're going to have to respect the Hydro Cannon. Can we counter farm down before the next move? Yes, we can. Sudowoodo with a huge running start. The opponent send back out Dragonite. We are throwing the Trailblaze, which will be ramping up our attack. Trailblaze forces the first protection. We then get the counter farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Registeel. Let's go. Khaos goes straight for the next Trailblaze, once again boosting our counter damage. The opponent says fuck that and concede the match, and Sudowoodo sweeps again. Let's go. Moving on to the next battle. We pick up a great lead. Beedrill double resists the counter damage from Machamp. The opponent saves switch into Melmetal. We go straight for the drill run. The opponent shows no respect. We then snipe with a counter. Back out comes Machamp. The opponent's going to need to throw or make a charge with the opponent's countering absolutely on point. They throw the cross shot on the CMP tie. We can now send back out Beedrill. We're going to be able to shield once. Poison Jab farm all the way down. That's exactly what we see Khaos do. The opponent masturbate with the cross chop. However, the Poison Jab takes him out. The opponent's final Pokemon is Greninja. Beedrill going to be forcing a Protect Shield with the X-Scissor. Steelix most certainly doesn't fancy this Greninja, so Khaos invests his final Protect Shield. He's then going to look to force the final Protect Shield with the second X-Scissor. Greninja so glassy. The opponent will definitely shield. Khaos now is farming up. Then he looks to make a catch of the Night Slash onto his Steelix. What a beautiful play. Night Slash doesn't do too much damage. The opponent now going to be forced to dump the remainder of their energy. Hydro Cannon will be taking us out, but Beedrill going to be able to get the Poison Jab farm down, and Khaos wins a very well played game. Beedrill into Poliwrath. This is exactly where the team wants to see it. We see the immediate pivot into Gligar, another buff Pokemon that is now top meta. We respond to the Gligar save switch with Steelix. Steelix throws the Breaking Swipe, lowering this Gligar's attack. The opponent at a dig. We see Khaos invest the Protect Shield. The opponent actually bait us with the Aerial Ass. What an absolute savage. However, this is why Breaking Swipe Steelix is so good. Despite the opponent being a shadow, the debuffed dig doesn't secure the knockout. Steelix maintains alignment. And to be honest, as we're solo, Poliwrath's going to get minimal farm. Steelix going to debuff it before going down. Breaking Swipe goes unshielded. We send back out Beedrill, the opponent pivots out into Registeel. We respond with Sudowoodo. However, as we're down a shield, this is going to get tricky. Khaos invests his final Protect Shield on the Focus Blast. He then throws the Trailblaze, looking to vamp up his counter damage. The opponent still with 2 Protect Shields, finally invests one. The opponent going to be able to outpace us to the next Focus Blast. Focus Blast going to vanquish us back to our Pokeballs. Now all down to Beedrill. Has Beedrill got enough in the tank to sweep this team? Khaos farms up, throws the X-Scissor. X-Scissor is resisted, but will be enough to knock out the opponent. Let it go. Back out comes Poliwrath. Khaos opting to go for a little cheeky masturbating session. We throw the X-Scissor, forcing the final Protect Shield. If the opponent's got Scald, this game's just over. Scald will be one-shot, and the opponent throw the Power-Up Punch. There must be Power-Up Punch, Ice Punch. We lose CMP. How do we lose CMP there? I believe we should win CMP. However, we do not, and we lose that game. I've actually just looked on PvPoke. Poliwrath has 116 attack compared to our 127. So again, X-Scissor doesn't go off, costing Khaos the dub. Moving on to the next battle. Awfully, Beedrill into Pidgeot. We pivot into Sudowoodo and the opponent responds with Azumarill. We land the Trailblaze and that does quite a lot of damage to the bulky Azumarill. We see Khaos looking to make a play at switch. The opponent full sends the Hydro Pump, but look at the bubble damage. Khaos now farms up, throws the Rock Slide. I think I'd go for another Trailblaze, to be honest, looking to vamp up my attack. The opponent shield the Rock Slide. Can we get the counter farm down? Khaos decides not to go for it, throwing Rock Slide number 2. Rock Slide number 2 forces the final Protect Shield. Unfortunately, we do get bubbled down, but we have forced both Protect Shields. We send out Beedrill. Beedrill gets the Poison Jab farm down. We pivot into Steelix and the opponent responds with Galarian Stunfisk. We are going to shield up the potential Earthquake. The opponent bait with a Rock Slide. However, trainer no bait will be saving you. We're at the Earthquake. It's going to be high Bear Trap, by Bear Trap. Get absolutely fucking wrecked. Just Pidgeot remains. Pidgeot, normally the king of debuffs, however, is about to get a taste of its own medicine. We throw the Breaking Swipe, lowering Pidgeot's attack. This silly annoying bird can literally throw whatever it likes. Steelix doesn't care. The opponent throws the Brave Bird. That isn't enough to knock out. And we get the Dragon Tail farm down and take that game. Beedrill into Sableye. Another matchup where our X-Scissor buff is going to come in clutch. Or at least you'd hope so. What the hell is going on with X-Scissor? Again, it doesn't fire. We shield up the Foul Play. Finally, X-Scissor works. Niantic, please look into this issue. You buff X-Scissor, and then when you try and throw it, it doesn't work. What the hell is that? However, getting back into the commentary, Khaos pivoted into Steelix. If you're going to run an ABB team, you always need to pivot into one of your B-types, looking to draw out a potential counter. The opponent doesn't respond with a fighter. We draw out Cantonian Ninetales, which ironically is something Beedrill doesn't want to see. We draw a Protect Shield with the Breaking Swipe. Steelix has done its job. Weather Ball does take us out, and it's now Sudowoodo time. As the opponent isn't switch locked, they pivot out into Slurpuff. We need our switch timer desperately. We throw the Rock Slide, stalling out the clock. Rock Slide forces the final protection. We are going to have to respect the potential Energy Ball. The opponent does have Energy Ball. Can we catch the next one? Onto Beedrill, we farm up. We look to make the catch. Did we catch or did the opponent respond? Let's see. What a beautiful catch. Khaos now very much back into this game. We look to get the full Poison Jab farm down. Slurpuff makes a charge move on a sliver of HP. They're now so low. Back out comes Sudowoodo. We get the counter farm down. Back out comes Ninetales. We've got the Rock Slide locked and loaded. And that is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the buffed Bunny. Earthquake got nerfed, so Niantic gave Diggersby access to Scorching Stands, but saying School Kids learns a count, we catch the Fire Punch onto Sudowoodo. However, the opponent responds with Defense Deoxys. The opponent goes straight for a Psycho Boost. Can Sudowoodo survive? Yes, we can. We're going to get off a charge move. No, we don't get off the charge move. Brutal. However, Khaos undeterred sends out the Mighty Bee, throws the X's at X's, a force of protection. Looks like the opponent's trying to get some shields down. Khaos gonna respect this charge move. The opponent throw the Rock Slide. Good shield from Khaos. As even debuff Beedrill so glassy with them farm up. Luckily for us, X-Scissor actually activates. X-Scissor should be secure in the knockout, which it does. Back out comes the Easter Bunny. We farm up. Throw the Drill Run on the CMP tie. Drill Run lands for decent neutral damage. Beedrill can survive a Fire Punch, but it's not going to be pretty. Fire Punch gets us low. We then see the pivot into Steelix. The opponent goes straight for another Fire Punch. They don't even commit to the potential Scorching Sands or Earthquake. Khaos tanks the Fire Punch. The opponent then pivot out into a Charmer. I haven't seen what's come in, as Steelix takes up the entire screen. It's actually a Raichu running charm, aka Charmchu. What the heck is that doing on my screen? I have no idea. But luckily for us, this dragon type damage is hitting for neutral. The opponent makes a brick break. We opt not to shield. With the debuff, we survive. Can we get the Dragon Tail farm down? It's a Shadow Beedrill now. Should be able to survive the mud shots. The opponent actually throw a charge move, giving us the win. The poison jab is going to mean we're at the X-Scissor. X-Scissor, please work, please work. Niantic, no. Khaos, don't worry, buddy. I'm chalking that as a dub, as that was some absolute bullshit. Moving on to the next battle, Beedrill into Greninja. A pretty neutral matchup, despite us having a favourable type in. Greninja is just so spammy. That Water Shrieking is 4.66 EPT. The only quick move that generates more energy is Lock On. We shield up the Hydro Cannon, force to Protect Shield with the X's, as we see Khaos invest his final Protect Shield on the next Hydro Cannon. The opponent then pivot out into Metachan, and this is pretty much where we want to see it. We go straight for the X's. X's goes unshielded. The opponent's going to need to throw a Psychic to take us out. Ice Punch just isn't going to get the job done. Ice Punch leaves us deep in the red. We then bank an X-Scissor for the road, and then we pivot out into Steelix. The opponent doesn't build up to a potential dynamic punch. They actually throw a power-up punch, which does quite a lot of damage. Steelix gets the full Dragon Tail farm down. We'll leave with a break-in swipe. Let's see what the opponent wants to send out. Back out comes Greninja, and we go straight for the break-in swipe. Break-in swipe. Gonna knock out or force the final Protect Shield. The opponent let Greninja go down, putting all their hopes and dreams on the back of Trevenant, but Steelix still not done. Fires off the next break-in swipe, forcing the final Protect Shield. The opponent looking for the full Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent actually gets scared, throwing energy. They actually YOLO the Shadow Ball as well. What massive overkill. We send in Sudowoodo with the debuff. We should be able to survive any one move. The opponent full send another Shadow Ball. Sudowoodo shrugs it off. We make the Rock Slide, and Sudowoodo is a Trevenant counter. Confirmed. GG's, and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to Khaos for the incredible battle submission. It's clear to see that Sudowoodo and Steelix are now greatly improved with access to Trailblaze and Breaking Swipe respectively. I don't think we really got a fair look at Beedrill, to be honest. There's some sort of glitch with the X-Scissor. However, when Niantic fix it, I'll look to showcase Beedrill once again, as it is one of my favourite Pokemon. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.